Go interactive with X-Ray, where we bring trading experts to you live in the platform. Choose sessions, watch live market analysis, and catch up on your favorite market insights anytime. Ask questions and go one-to-one with leading experts on gold, oil, FX, crypto, indices, and equities. X-Ray, your very own analysis team, right at your fingertips. That's higher trading from MarketsX. Discover how some of the top executives are trading their own companies with our Insider Trades tool. See who's been buying or selling stock and what their trades say about insider sentiment. Use this unique big data tool to make more informed stock trades. That's higher trading from MarketsX.
What's happening, beautiful people? Good day, good morning, good afternoon, people, wherever you are. Today, it's all about women, guys. The lovely human beings that can make our life beautiful in a split second or can completely change the course of our lives and businesses. They're known for starting wars. They are known for being nice and kind, and most of them have careers that make even the hardest men melt and be humble. So on this note, ladies, gentlemen, traders, happy Women's Day, wherever you are. Today, I have the great pleasure of having here a woman that has it all. Kindness, a golden heart, and above all, a successful career woman in the financial markets. Women in Finance in 2021, coming up. Right, ladies, gentlemen, traders, once again, happy Women's Day wherever you are. And on this topic, please welcome Elena Christodoulou, Regional Manager at DAC Bay Area at Markets.com. But first, I gotta make sure we have sound and image. So we should have image. Bear with me for just a second until we fix this tiny live issue that we have, the lack of camera.
Okay, give me a second, figuring it out.
Bear with me for a second. Okay,
Hello.
so ladies, gentlemen, traders, I'm going to try the intro once again. Please welcome Elena Christodoulou, Regional Manager for the DAC Bay Area at Markets.com. Helena, good afternoon. Happy Women's Day. How are you?
Andrew, thanks so much for having me. Well, I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day. You have a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day indeed, and you ladies make this day even more beautiful.
Well, thanks so much.
You're very, very welcome. Right, how are you on this beautiful spring day, Helena?
Well, I'm very happy, very pleased. I wish it would be a bit sunnier today. Cyprus is a bit covered by clouds, but other than that, it's wonderful to have the opportunity to celebrate this wonderful day and this year from Markets.com.
Have you been spoiled today in any way?
I have a huge bouquet of flowers here and received my beautiful husband, actually, and my son. And then I got also a wonderful voucher from the company that I can please myself with some books.
Sweet. Now, before we get into it, please tell us, what do you do exactly at Markets.com?
Sure, Andrew. I'm the regional manager for DACH at Markets.com. For those of you who don't know, DACH means Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. What does it mean, a regional manager? Actually, it means you do anything and everything that's related to the region.
I understand. So in other words, you are the leading member for the German teams and markets, correct?
Indeed, that's right. Yeah, that sounds accurate.
All right. First of all, congratulations for doing an amazing job, Elena. How hard is it to be a woman in finance in 2021?
Well, 2021, it's been 3 months now, but generally speaking, I think the fair answer is it depends on the position. So let's say for entry-level positions, it's not as challenging, I would say. So the chances to get as far as a man on an entry-level position is 50-50. The higher you go up the ladder, the more senior your position, the more difficult it gets. Based on the latest statistics, I think it's about 23% of women that are in board meetings in big financial institutions. So it's not that much.
It's not much, Helena. Sometimes less is more, and you're doing an amazing job. However, I do hope to see more and more brilliant women as yourself in managing positions. Quick question: did you feel, or do you feel, a lot of pressure being a woman in the financial markets? Do you have any different competition between yourself and other male managers, let's say?
Good question, actually.
Are they being nasty with you? Are they being mean and evil like men are?
Well, I wouldn't say they're nasty like this. It's just we have to work much harder as women. Let's put it this way. So let's say I just want to remember when it was the first time I really realized how many men are in the industry. So I was like, it was, I think, 2017, and it was my first big expo in Germany. So imagine me 4 years ago, young Elena goes organizing an expo in Germany, and being very innocent in this sense. And I walk inside, and I see me, and more than 80% men.
How intimidating was that for you?
Well, it was a lot. I was not expecting it because I saw the only women, it was me, and it was the ladies that are giving away the flyers.
Yeah.
You know, and some spouses of the speakers there, and it was just me. So I was like, okay, what am I doing here? They're going to eat me alive. Well, it wasn't as hostile as expected. They were really nice to me, but still, I mean, put yourself in my position. When you're only surrounded by men, it's a bit harder to blend in and fit in.
Right. Tell me about it. I feel exactly the same as you felt when I go to a shopping center, for example, or somewhere else, and I'm surrounded by 100 women, beautiful women, but still, I feel the same. Helena, when did you start in the industry?
I started actually 6 years approximately ago. My husband and I, we relocated from Switzerland to Cyprus. And obviously in Cyprus, we have a lot of financial companies. So we were hired for a broker. And it was the first time I really touched the financial industry. I had no experience, but straight away I felt, okay, I have a lot of interest. This is exciting. We're learning about, so many new things. So many things are influencing the financial industry. And since the day that I started, I didn't want to stop.
True, I'm with you. I started 10 years ago and I still feel the same. Now, can I ask you, why finance? I mean, did you have various jobs to choose from, or this was basically the main option you had at that point?
I think it was mainly the interest of learning something new, and the chance was given to me to start in an industry that I had pretty much no idea of. And it was this thrill. I was like, okay, I've never done this. They give me the option here, the chance to try something new. I just go for it and see if I enjoy it. So several years later, and it's still enjoyable, I have to say. The interesting part about it, I think what really drives me is that it's impacting us in everyday life.
Yes.
It's not like a job that you cannot relate to. Every day you have to do something with finance, so it's part of your life, and it's interesting to learn more about it.
True. Very well said. And did it scare you, let's say, when you joined the men's world? Yeah, because this world, the finance world, was known for many years to be a men's world, where this was the biggest challenge for you.
I have to admit, I didn't feel straight away that it was a challenge. I only knew failure is not an option.
True.
I saw myself as not just being out there for myself, but I'm also representing quite a lot of women out there. So I didn't want to be the one woman that is there and who's not performing. So every move I make, every step I take, I had to make sure that I give my best and I do my best in order not to, not to embarrass the ladies out there.
True, and I'm with you. And I wish more men would think the same, and more men would do the same things you did, just not to embarrass, the male species. Unfortunately, some or most of them don't do that. Now, Have you ever had any challenges, let's say, in your line of work just because you were a woman?
The thing that I believe is like you really get questioned and doubted more. So let's say I'm here, me as Elena, and here is Mr. John, let's say, who's doing the same thing as I, has the same experience, same education. It's somehow, as a woman, I always have the feeling like I have to insist more. You know, my word is not always taken for granted, is questioned more. And another thing, which is that, you know, if you're a man and you have your opinion and you go out there and you share your opinion, you have a strong character, you're like, wow, look at this guy, he's so self-confident. Wow. Now, as a woman going out there having confidence and really speaking my mind, you come across a bit bitter and sometimes a bit bitchy, sorry for the term.
Exactly.
But this is one of the challenges we have to fight with, or like, you know, oh, she's so emancipated. It gives sometimes such a negative connotation, which is quite, it's quite frustrating in times and times.
I'm with you. Well, you know, we are very special as well, and we react. We're big kids, you know, we're big babies. So many times we just don't know how to react in the presence of a strong, independent, equal rights opportunity woman. Now, Helena, how do men react when you tell them what you do for a living? Because you're quite high on the scale and in the financial markets. What's their take on it? What's their reaction?
My favorite. Hi, man, can I speak to the manager, please? Well, you do. Yeah, the manager. I'm the manager. Oh, you know, this is like, it happens to me so many times, and this reaction is just priceless. I wish I could film it, you know. Well, a lot of people act with surprise and are surprised, but I want to believe that after the years that I'm in the industry, somehow I gained also the confidence, so it's much more easier for people to really believe that I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right. Now, complicated question. Empowering women, yeah? The movement that caught males by surprise many years ago, and they're still surprised, many of them. Was it really needed, Elena?
The movement as a movement, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely. The thing is, we need to point to the weaknesses if we want them to be fixed. And I think a lot of this emancipation thing really starts also from the male world. I think it's a bit, let's say, the fear of competition at some point, because, you know, you men, you're out there competing among each other, and now the ladies want a piece of that cake too. So, and they're also sometimes like complete different creatures. You don't know how to compete with them.
Yep.
But yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're here and we're here to stay and become more. And I think it's also very crucial for companies to take steps, because there are very few women that dare to go for the job opportunity or to ask for a higher position. So I think it's also a responsibility of the company to point out women that can have higher positions and help them a bit along until we reach the level that this help or support is no longer necessary.
Well, as far as I know, most companies or a lot of companies are doing it. So I hope it's gonna work out. Now, can you feel any change since this movement started? Let's call it.
I see a superficial change.
Tell me more.
I see that, you know, as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of women in entry-level positions. But where are the ladies when it's a board meeting? Where are the ladies in the C-level? There are so few. So that is something that, to my mind, needs to be really worked on. There need to be given more incentives also for companies to really push ladies to develop further, because think about also like the products that are being sold, for example. We need to have more diversity. The more diverse a board is or a group of decision makers, the better eventually also the product that they will create. So completely leaving the ladies out of the picture will be not an advantage for the company long term.
True, unless they're doing roadworks or something like that. Yeah, I think you should have at least one or two or three ladies in the board. So, Helena, what
An
are
engineer.
what are the main issues that women are facing in 2021, Helena? What can you tell us about this apart from what you already told us?
Yeah. I mean, COVID. Seriously, we've all been impacted by it, and what mainly changed is that the work environment became home office.
Yeah.
So we got really overwhelmed with a lot of different tasks, full-time job, children, homeschooling, and everything related to do in the house. Whereas before you were in the office, you were sitting, you were doing your job, and you didn't have anybody who needs you on top of that, let's say. So I think this really has had a very big impact, and it made everything a bit more challenging.
So,
Definitely.
considering all this, do you still want more responsibility on top of it?
I want to have the option to choose if I want more responsibility. I want to be given the option to decide myself if I want it or not.
True. And it's entirely up to you to do that. Right. Now, what do you ladies want, basically? How can we make you happy and appreciated? Yeah, even more than what we're doing now.
Well, don't name me on this one, because I mean, there are a lot of different ladies out there with a lot of things that they need and they want. But I think, very general speaking, is we just want to have the same. We want to have the option to get the same things that men do in the work environment, either if it's salary, positions, if you take it broader, if you take it on a more social level. Let's say we even want equal rights for home. We want the man to do as much as we do for the house, for the children, and so further. So the only thing we actually really want is the option to be on an even level.
But we are. Now, there's one other thing that's not even as it is right now, and I'm really curious on your view about it. I think about 70% of people in prison are men and 30% are women. Do you want to equal that too?
Well, let's just try to reduce the whole thing and have less people in prison. I think that would be the best choice.
True, but to be punctual, yes, 70% of the people in prison, I think, are men. Okay, are you up to equalizing the situation?
Well, if equalizing meaning bringing the percentage of men down, then sure.
Right. Okay, no problem. Now, how about family, Elena? Are you or were you at the point where you had to choose between family life and career, or you can do both?
Oh man, that's a really good question to ask me. Actually, so a few might know I became a mother a year ago exactly. And after maternity leave, I just realized, okay, this can't be it. I need something more challenging. I want to, get my career further. So after maternity leave, I changed position and came to markets.com as a regional manager, which is actually, very interesting. Talking about family and and work. I have my son coming in right now.
Hello.
Welcome to home office.
Yes. How is your husband supportive with your career? He understands what you're doing and why you're doing it?
Yes, he's extremely supportive, and actually, I think I couldn't do it without him pretty much. So yes, he helps me. He's motivating me a lot, and he also reminds me that you need to push harder to get further. So he's motivating me really to go out there and reach my potential and achieve the most. He's like, I'm aware that there are a lot of men being intimidated by strong women, or he could have also said, we just had a baby, better to focus on this one now. But well, obviously he's my partner because we suit so well together, and he didn't do this.
He sounds like a keeper. I would keep him.
And I will.
Elena, what's your next move in the career? How high do you want to go in your career?
As high as I can get. There is
CEO
no
level?
limits, and I'm willing to go the full way and reach my full potential, and nothing will hold me down.
Right. I like what I'm hearing so far. Brilliant. Elena, I want to wish you an amazing Women's Day once again, and a big, big thank you for accepting the challenge. And nonetheless, thank you for being in our lives and making our lives brighter, let's say.
Our life would not be so nice with the men in our lives neither.
Tell me about it. Now, Elena, thank you ever so much for being with us today.
Thanks so much. It was a great pleasure, Andrew. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Anytime. Take care.
Thanks.
Right.
Goodbye.
Ladies, gentlemen, traders, we had a successful career woman, equal opportunity, strong, successful, and a mother on top of everything else. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, or don't go nowhere, like one of my friends likes to say. And we're coming back live with another guest of mine from the heart of London and with the US markets open. Stay tuned. We're coming back live soon.
Go interactive with X-Ray, where we bring trading experts to you live in the platform. Choose sessions, watch live market analysis, and catch up on your favorite market insights anytime. Ask questions and go one-to-one with leading experts on gold, oil, FX, crypto, indices, and equities. X-Ray, your very own analysis team, right at your fingertips. That's higher trading from MarketsX. Discover how some of the top executives are trading their own companies with our Insider Trades tool. See who's been buying or selling stock and what their trades say about insider sentiment. Use this unique big data tool to make more informed stock trades. That's higher trading from MarketsX.
Boom, and we're live. What's happening, beautiful people? Good morning, America. Good afternoon, Europe, and welcome everyone to our live stream. Happy Women's Day to all the lovely ladies that make our lives more beautiful or less beautiful. And a big, big virtual hug, everyone. We need you in our lives, and we love you very, very much. In other words, how are you guys doing? Let me know how you're doing in the comments box below. If you like what you see or if you hate what you see, like, share, subscribe, and support us in delivering more great or annoying content. Now, let's get down to business, people, and see what's happening in the markets on this beautiful Monday, 8th of March, 2021. Quiet day in the economic calendar with the unemployment rate in Switzerland and the German industrial production leading today on the European front. Poor economic calendar for today, guys. In other news, the 1.9 trillion stimulus bill finally made it through the Senate, and it will return to the House of Representatives today with minor changes noted. Crude oil opened with a gap to the upside following a rebel drone attack on some oil facilities in Saudi Arabia, pushing the oil price above $70 per barrel on the international markets. The U.S. stock markets are expected to open to the downside today, with the Dow Jones, the S&P, and the Nasdaq all giving back between 0.2 and 1.6%. Amazon confirms IPO plans for its new food delivery service, Deliveroo, in London. And Bitcoin gains, but still ranging at around 50,300, and Ethereum follows as well. U.S. markets open coming up. Right, and we're back, beautiful people, with the economic calendar. I want to guide you through the economic calendar real quick to see what's happening today and what's expected to happen this week. Let's see. So we have a holiday in Russia, guys. Russia, along with half of the world, is celebrating International Women's Day today. We had a few announcements, guys. We started nice and early at 8:45 GMT plus 2 with the unemployment rate in Switzerland, which came out 3.6% versus a previous of 3.7%. And 3.6% as expected by consensus as well. That German industrial production followed with a negative 2.5% versus an expectation of positive 0.2%, and versus the previous 1.9%, tanking the euro even more. This is what's happening in the markets today, guys. Nothing really big is on the economic calendar. Tomorrow it's going to start picking up a bit with announcements from the Eurozone. We're going to have the French non-farm payrolls at 8:30 GMT plus 2. And then we're going to have the German trade balance and the gross domestic product year over year and quarterly in the Eurozone. Okay, in the afternoon, we're going to have the API weekly crude oil stock and electronic card retail sales on the Kiwi dollar. The week will start getting busier on Wednesday with the interest rate decision and a press conference from the Bank of Canada. So the interest rate decision in Canada is expected to remain unchanged at 0.25%. Also on Wednesday, we're going to have crude oil inventories, cash in crude oil inventories, followed by the federal budget balance. This is it. I'm going to get to more economic data as we get along. But until then, ladies, gentlemen, traders, from the heart of London, the man that has a different hairstyle every time we speak, Neil Wilson, everyone. Good afternoon, Neil. How are you? Did you get a haircut?
No, not yet. No, I've managed to tame it though this morning.
It's looking nice. It's looking very well.
Thank you.
Now, Neil, we have good news and a bad news today. The good news is that the stimulus bill was eventually accepted over the weekend, and the bad news is that the stock markets are expected to open lower again today. Are we on the edge of a big correction in the stock markets, you think?
I'm not so sure. I think it depends really on what happens with the bond market. I think if you see the yield on 10-year treasuries and so on and 30-year whatever, if you see these yields really start to push on up out of this region now, we're at 1.6%. If you start to push up towards say 1.8, 1.9, then you're in a zone of trouble really for a lot of valuations. A lot of the sort of growth stocks that have really driven the stock market. Remember just how concentrated the FANGs have really been in pushing up the S&P, for example. But that said, I think you're seeing the reason that we're getting this yield movement is because of expectations of stronger growth, and that is positive for value and cyclical. So I think you're just seeing maybe some rotation, which I think we're in a sort of market now where really bulls and bears can get trapped. I think you're seeing quite wide swings, but not necessarily a very clear steer on where things are going. So I think you're just seeing a lot of churn, a lot of rotation, and there's a question mark over whether yields can keep rising. I saw this morning David Tepper was reported as saying that he's a big US investor, that what's happening in Japan is that they're now net buyers of US treasuries, and therefore that will put a cap on yields. So there's I still think there's room for yields to move higher, but there's obviously doubts about just how much higher they can go.
I'm with you. Now, the US dollar started the week strong again. If we look at the charts, Neil, we see a big push. Yeah, and it pushed the euro and the pound lower today. Do we have a direction, a potential direction, or some pivot points for the week, Neil, for the US dollar index?
Yeah, I mean, so again, I think it's very much tied to what happens with the yield story this week. If we've got a couple of bond auctions, a 10-year and a 30-year bond auction in the US Wednesday and Thursday, so we'll see how much demand there is there, and that'll be a real instruction point really for the market to see whether or not there's any scope for yields to move higher. And obviously as you're showing there around that 92 level, it starts to look a bit extended on that dollar rally. So I wouldn't be surprised if actually you see the dollar come off again. But I mean, I've obviously been saying the dollar likely to slide this year, certainly the first sort of half of this year, and it's really it's obviously rallied over the last couple of weeks, and I just feel though that there's still room for the dollar to decline. It's just whether or not yields in the rest of the world catch up, or what happens with the US bond market. So on that, I mean, I've been looking at the euro dollar and cable crosses, and the euro is approaching key sort of 200-day EMA support coming in around about 118.20, I think, on that one. And then cable, you've got 137 sort of 60 region that was that previous area of resistance, and it's a Fibonacci level as well, and that level looks like it's going to be an important one for cable. It's tested it, and I think we could see that level getting tested this week potentially. But I think really looking at that bond auction, those two bond auctions later in the week to see what sort of direction the bond market wants to take.
Another issue that impacted the European currencies today is the news that Europe is kind of struggling with dispersing the vaccine, evenly.
Yeah.
Versus the US, which is still doing a good job despite all the issues they had. Okay, so that might lead to the euro and the pound trading lower this week. Also, if we look at the cable on a 4-hour chart, there we go. Yeah, we can see the candlesticks, the candlesticks formation consolidating below that 200 moving average. Okay, not a lot of volume in the markets just yet, but this consolidation below usually points to a bit of selling power on the market. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see the pound trading lower this week, Neil.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as you say, that little setup there is very instructive. I think, as you say, it's just consolidating below the average. So, like I said, I think maybe 131 spot 3760, that sort of region that we saw was the previous area of resistance. It touched it a few times earlier in the year and then bounced off it before finally breaking through. So I think that would be an area that could get tested in the coming days.
Right, and if it's going to go below that, we're going to be looking at what? 137 flat, 136, because 136 shows me a previous low in this consolidation.
Yeah, I mean, I think you start to sort of tick off the round numbers after that.
Yeah, because the markets always tend to be attracted to round numbers. Now, Euro USD, Neil, looking at the charts once again on a 4-hour chart, yeah, with all the indicators and all the posh things, we see a very important retest of a very important support level, yeah, as we speak right now, which is that one. Yeah, and if that's going to be broken, then what could we expect from the euro this week? Maybe a retest to another support level around the 117 mark.
Yeah, I think that where you're drawing there is the sort of that zone is clearly there's an attraction to that zone for euro dollars. So obviously, I think that would be an area could start to move sideways after entering that zone, really. But again, I think there's still scope for the euro to rally again. I think a lot depends. This week we've got the ECB meeting on
Wednesday.
On Wednesday, and it's got a lot of questions to answer really with regards the pace of the steepening in the yield curve again in Europe. And we saw that I think German bunds were up 26 basis points in February, biggest monthly jump in 3 years. So they're seeing the same similar sort of moves as in the US, maybe not quite as fast. So we'll look to see just how much the ECB this week decides to sort of lean against this rally in yields, and whether or not that has some kind of impact on the euro.
Now, we had a news on crude oil this morning. Apparently, there was a drone attack in Saudi Arabia across several pipes, or oil fields. We saw oil pushing as high as $70 a barrel on the international market. Yeah, currently looking at the charts, again on a 4-hour chart, yeah, we saw the European markets opening with a gap today, get to the upside, and then the markets filled the gap basically, and now we're very close to see a retest of that 20 moving average. Where does this leave oil for the week, Neil?
Well, I think it's still very positive for oil. I think there's still these sort of short-term attacks on Saudi facilities and so on. We've seen them before. They're fairly short-lived in their impact on the market, I think, on the whole, unless you end up in a full-scale sort of shooting match in the Middle East. Obviously, that's different. But these sort of attacks are part of trading oil. And I think really what's driving the oil price right now is more the tightness of the market and the fact that OPEC didn't increase production or elected to hold off from increasing production in April. And so that is that's just going to further tighten the market, and I think that will create further upward pressure. So I wouldn't be surprised to see $75 on Brent by, say, the end of this month or into April, depending on sort of the pace of demand recovery that we see maybe in the US in particular, with their vaccine rollout potentially helping to drive quite an aggressive increase in oil demand there.
Right. You know what doesn't make a lot of sense, to be honest? Now, a lot of people, around the world were affected this year and last year, by what happened, in terms of COVID and so on. Now, people are trying to get back on the market slowly. They're trying to lift the bans, the moving bans in their countries, and they're trying to get back to work. In a crippled economy, in a crippled wallet, basically, does this oil price make any sense to you? Should it be that expensive that it would cost me half a salary to go to work and back?
Well, I mean, it's to do with the fact that the economies are roaring back this year, or expected to roar back this year. And that's the thing. The pricing is on the expectation, and I think you've got to look at the state of the market, the physical market, with the amount of drawdown in global inventories that we're seeing taking place, and that tightness of supply. As I said, if you look at the futures curve, it's very backward dated. So it's the pricing suggests a real premium on front month contracts, and therefore that indicates tightness of supply. There's no merit in holding on to stocks. You want to get rid of them, and so I think that is an indicator really of just how tight the market has become, and so that I think is the key thing there for oil. And it's just the case that there's been so much stimulus and vaccines, so things are going to be picking up economically. You expect this year there's going to be a big bounce back.
Well, I do expect that towards the end of the year, maybe in autumn, September, October, somewhere there, the vaccine will not be an issue anymore. Worldwide. And I expect that from then, slowly, people will get back to work and so on. And that will boost the demand in the oil price. But for this summer, to have oil prices so high without a solid indication that we are getting back to normal, because now we're getting mixed signals. There is an issue in supplying vaccines. World economies are tumbling. People are left out of jobs. We might not open the doors on the 15th of March or April, in Europe, to get back to work. So this is what worries me a bit. But anyways, just speculation on the financial markets. Another asset that we have on the scope today is gold futures. We're looking at gold trading below 1,700 once again, 1690, 35, 31. For gold this afternoon. And again, it's a big downtrend, Neil. What should we expect from gold as things stand right now?
Well, I mean, I think, again, it's always going back to this bond market that's driving the prices at the moment. And I think, if you see US yields pick up further, then that would probably create conditions for gold to fall again. I think, obviously this level is really important. I think it's a 61.8% retracement of the rally from the March low last year to the August high on that chart. That's at the bottom of that one to there. I think it's around that 61% level. So important technical support there that's being tested. And I think, once if that goes, then you got to be looking at back down to that next Fibonacci level, where it started to break down in March last year. So potentially some real weakness in gold again, but as I say, it just depends what the pace of any increase in US bond yields happens to be.
True, but if that's correct, it means we might see oil trading as low as $1,600 an ounce, or even below that, 15 something.
Yeah, I think that's that's a very sort of credible scenario at the moment. But again, it's just this question of, have we sort of basically already seen the movement in yields? If US yields sort of stop moving now, we've seen, the last couple of weeks has been a big spike or two, taking it to 1.6% on the 10-year, 2.3% on the 30-year. If that move's sort of done and dusted pretty much, then there's a real scope for gold to bounce back.
All right. So as far as we know this week, gold is on a downtrend. We might see gold trading lower, based on whatever news we're getting from the US. We're looking at the pound and at the euro breaking lower again. Okay, probably based on some pressure of uneven distribution, or distribution issues of the vaccines in Europe. Okay, and we see a dollar strengthening again for the week, potentially strengthening. Tomorrow, when the stimulus measures will go through the House of Representatives and it's all going to be stamped and signed, what do you think that will do to the dollar? Or do you think the dollar is already priced in?
I think the stimulus is priced as far as I can tell. I mean, you never quite know, but we've been dealing with stimulus. This deal was really, we knew it was basically going to get passed. The Senate has delivered, and so I think now that that's there, I don't see any real surprises stimulus-wise. I think that what will be interesting is what effect the stimulus has on consumer confidence, on retail spending, and critically on inflation. What sort of effect does it actually have over the summer when you think the US economy is already going to be bouncing back very strongly? That pro-cyclical stimulus, that how much more does it add to these numbers? So I think that's really going to be the key question there.
So printing so much money and injecting so much money into the economy, what does it do to the dollar usually? To the currency itself. It weakens it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because you have a surplus of currency going on. So they encourage, by having low interest rates, now they're encouraging people to borrow more money, spend more money, and eventually boost the economy, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And 3 years after, or 2 years after, we might see the interest rates going from 0 to 5%.
Possibly. maybe 1%.
Leaving many people in trouble. Right. Okay. I get it. Neil, thank you ever so much for the lovely information you provided us. I'll see you on Thursday as usual. Who knows? I'm starting to get used to you like this. I don't really want to get you getting a haircut. Right. Neil Wilson, everyone, from the heart of London. Have a good one. Thank you for being with us today. Ladies, gentlemen, traders, I'm coming back live in 30 seconds with the charts of the day and the signals of the day. Stay tuned. Don't go nowhere, like one of my friends likes to say. Stay tuned. We're coming back live in 30.
Keep your finger on the market pulse with the News Alerts tool. Stay up to date on the latest sentiment across all the major asset classes. Uncover bullish or bearish signals tied to specific assets that could be developing before major price moves, and track how news sentiment correlated with price in the past. Track the news volume on an asset, its fear index, and get a better feel for its underlying strength. All with News Alerts, your central hub for market information. That's higher trading from MarketsX.
Right, beautiful people. I want to start with the news about Bitcoin today, guys. Bitcoin peers reporting number of Bitcoin on exchanges plummeted by 20% over the past year. Very, very interesting article and very interesting example on the charts, guys. This is done with courtesy of William Clement III. Okay. And his article is absolutely mind-blowing. So data from blockchain analytics firm Glassnode reveals that the number of Bitcoin on centralized exchanges has crashed by roughly 20% in the past 12 months. This is an indication that investors are actively accumulating and leading cryptocurrencies and stashing it on cold storage. Okay, there is a difference, guys. Have a look at this. The yellow line represents the balance on exchanges. Yeah, all crypto exchanges, all the Bitcoin exchanges, and the gray or the transparent line that goes up. Yeah, indicates the price, guys. So as the volume on exchanges decreases, the price keeps going up. Very, very interesting. And this example is from January 2020 until today. Right, let's move on. As reported by Bitcoin peers, the on-chain analytics provider recently shared data suggesting new Bitcoin holders or hodlers did not panic selling their crypto holdings amid the massive dip witnessed in late February. Glassnode's hodl waves metric, which evaluates the time since coins were last moved on the chain, also supported the narrative of increased accumulation activity. According to the hodl waves data, which was published on February 22nd, 57% of Bitcoin supply has not moved in over a year. Furthermore, more than 1/3 of the said percentage has not moved in over 5 years. While it is possible that these coins belong to long-term hodlers, there is also a possibility that a significant portion of the assets may have been lost. And that's very correct, guys. A lot of people got scammed. A lot of people that didn't know how to store their cryptocurrencies unfortunately got hacked and the coins were lost. But let's see. Another possible explanation is the rising popularity of decentralized exchanges and DeFi yield protocols. Several large investors are turning sight to DeFi offerings to make quick gains. To buttress this point, the total Bitcoin value locked on wrapped Bitcoin has increased by more than $1 billion this month. Okay, this was the article was written by Saudou Clement, okay, or William Clement III, and it has a point, guys. It has a point, and it's bringing us valuable information on the table when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Yeah, look deeper into it, guys. Sometimes it's not what you think it is. Now, let's have a quick look at top 5 things to know in the markets today, guys. Then we're going to move on to the charts of the day and the signals of the day real quick. Oh my God, I'm getting hungry. Just let me sniper this lovely yellow pop-up. So, number 1 on the board, U.S. Senate passes stimulus package. The U.S. Senate passed the $1.9 trillion stimulus package with minor amendments. The bill will return to the House of Representatives today and may be voted through its amended form on Tuesday, according to various reports. The Senate left most of the package unchanged, but trimmed plans for weekly unemployment benefits down to $300 from an initial $400. The benefits will also now end in September. Well, in September, not now, a month earlier than foreseen earlier. The proposal for a $15 an hour federal minimum wage had been withdrawn at an earlier stage. Why? Why, though? Come on, help the people a bit. Despite some grumbling from the left wing of the party, the bill is expected to pass its second vote in the House and be signed into law later this week. Number 2 on the board, China's tech wreck continues. Copper also weakens. The bubble in Chinese tech stocks continued to deflate overnight, with the Shanghai Shenzhen CSI 300 falling over 3% overnight, guys, as the implication of the Communist Party's relatively low growth budget for 2021 sank in. The country's main tech index fell below its 100-day moving average in the process. We might see a mini crash of the markets, guys, if not a big crash like we saw in 2008. Okay, it is a bit worrying that the stock markets are moving in the opposite direction of the economies. Number 3 on the board, the stock set to open lower as yields concern return. U.S. stocks are set to open lower today, giving up of some of the giant gains, that they made in Friday's surge as concerns about rising bond yields returned to the fore. By 6:30 a.m., Dow Jones was down 58 points. The S&P was down 0.7%, and the Nasdaq 100 was also down 1.6%. Number 4, finally, a good news. Amazon's food delivery startup Deliveroo confirms London IPO plans. Deliveroo, the UK-based food delivery business backed by Amazon, among others, confirmed its plans for an initial public offering in London, one of a flurry of deals that is coinciding with a move by the city to shore up its competitiveness as a financial marketplace in the aftermath of Brexit. The Financial Times reported that the company is targeting a valuation of $10 billion after a year in which its top line grew by 54% to £1.2 billion last year. $1.7 billion. Profiting from a pandemic that forced restaurants and diners to depend on delivery services to a degree that was both unprecedented and, some argue, unlikely to be repeated. Well, never say never, guys, and better safe than sorry. That's what I always say. Finally, number 5 on the board, oil pushes above $70 a barrel on the international markets after attack on Saudi facilities. The price of oil spiked above $70 after Houthi rebels in Yemen launched a combined drone and missile strike against various oil industry facilities in Saudi Arabia over the weekend. In contrast to the strike on the some facilities 2 years ago, there was no significant damage to the facilities and no loss of life. Well, at least that, guys. So these are the top 5 things to know in the markets today, guys. Let's move on to the charts of the day and the signals of the day. I don't want to stall for anything. So we're going to start with crude oil WTI, guys, on a 60-minute chart, which opened with a gap to the upside this morning on the European trading session, pushed a bit higher, following the news of the attack on the Saudi oil rigs, and then started tumbling, guys, currently trading at 65.47, and we see a retest of that 50 MA to the downside as we speak. RSI stochastic both pushed downwards, indicating a bit of selling power. So don't be surprised if you're going to see oil heading even lower, and testing that 200 MA to the downside around the 62.84 mark. But don't jump the gun. We're going to get on to the trading signals in just a second. The euro-US dollar moved downwards today, continuing the depressing downtrend and that retest of the 20 MA that we see there. Now, as we speak, RSI stochastic are literally holding on to the charts for dear life. They're crawling into the oversold levels. We see a retest of that 20 MA to the upside with a lot of pressure from the upside coming, pushing the price potentially lower. 118.77 for the euro versus the US dollar this afternoon, with great potential to continue this downtrend that we got used to by now. Now we're looking at the cable, guys. GBP USD 138.34 this afternoon. After the pound traded sideways more or less, we saw a very shy retest of that 50 MA to the upside that happened a couple of hours ago. But since then, the RSI and the stochastic are trading into the lower side of the chart, again indicating a bit of weakness on the pound versus the US dollar. USD JPY, on the other hand, is absolutely shining. 108.77 this afternoon after the US markets open. Look at the bottom of the chart, guys. Look at the RSI and the stochastic crawling into the upper section, indicating a tremendous buying power from there on. Let's see how long will this uptrend and buying power last for. 108.78 this afternoon. RSI stochastic both pointing upwards. We're going to look at the signals of the day in just a second, guys, and see what analysts are thinking about the trend of the USD JPY. Meanwhile, we see the Aussie dollar fighting and holding on to dear life, just like the euro and the pound, guys. A bit of positivity happened a couple of hours ago, but that's just a tantrum of the markets. 0.7681 this afternoon, with the RSI stochastic again remaining into the lower section of the chart, indicating a potential continuation of the downtrend. Right, I got to choose my words carefully, guys, so I don't upset compliance and the regulators, so I don't get fined. So please bear with me while I'm trying to find my words sometimes. Right, we're looking at USD CAD, and the price is supported by that 200 moving average, 126.52, again with the RSI stochastic pointing downwards, but the RSI is stopping somewhere around the 50% mark. There you go, guys. And it hadn't reached the lower side of the chart, the oversold level, for quite some time now. So I'm not sure if the USD CAD is good to sell right now, or it's better to buy. Using the logic and what's happening, we see that 200 moving average there. If the candlestick formation consolidates above the 200 MA, then there is great potential to the upside. As we speak, we see a retest, and it matters a lot where that candlestick will close and where the next candlestick will open. Right, we're looking at the S&P500, guys, which opened. How did it open today? I can't see any gap. I think it opened a bit higher, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, there is potential to the upside for the S&P 500, 3,858.88 this afternoon. RSI stochastic both pointing upwards. Let's see. Let's have a quick look at the Dow Jones, which is rallying, guys. 31,754.22 for the Dow Jones this afternoon. Again, the markets took us by surprise with a positive market opening, versus the negative that everyone was advertising. The US dollar index, guys, opened to the downside, a bit of rejection from that 20 MA as we speak. But if the US stock markets push higher, guys, we might see the dollar pushing lower today. Gold is also dropping $1,683 for an ounce of gold this afternoon, which is depressing indeed. Okay, retest of that 50 MA, retest of that 20 MA, and we see a red candlestick pushing lower as we speak. And now everyone's favorite, guys, we're looking at the mighty Bitcoin, which has been ranging for a few days. What's happening, Bitcoin? You don't have any rich guys tweeting anything, no more announcements. What's going on? $50,761 this afternoon. RSI stochastic somewhere in between. We might see a bit of a correction from Bitcoin. Still, no one knows. As we know by now, logic and technical analysis has absolutely nothing to do with cryptocurrencies. Ethereum, in the same time, follows Bitcoin's movement a bit more brave than Bitcoin, I would say, probably accelerating a potential correction. Okay, from the drop that we had before. We're looking at Fibonacci retracement. There we go. We see the 61% area being tested right now. If it's going to push even higher, then we might hope for a correction of 78%, or why not a correction of 100% from Ethereum. Now, let's have a quick look at what is happening on the signal side of things on investing.com. Guys, please remember, if you want more signals, markets.com has an amazing trading platform that gives you the trading signals on the charts, guys. Now, I'm using this one for a couple of reasons. One, I'm not trading live while I'm chatting with you guys, and two, it's a bit bigger. I can see a bit bigger. I'm a bit blind, guys, so I'm struggling to see the signals. Okay, on a small monitor like my one. Okay, on the other platform, but it definitely helps, guys. It definitely helps if you're trading live. Now, let's have a quick look at what analysts are thinking about currencies this afternoon. Strong sell indications on an hourly and a daily chart for the euro versus the dollar. Nothing really happens within 5 minutes or 15 minutes. In the same time, we see a strong sell recommendation for the pound versus the US dollar, with the daily remaining a strong sell, and USD JPY and USD CHF again is stuck with strong buy indications on all 4 time frames. Right, Aussie dollar very undecided, Euro GBP very undecided, but the daily remains a strong sell, with the 5 minutes one remaining a strong buy. So we might see the euro pushing a bit higher for the next few minutes, couple of hours or so, and then don't be surprised if it's going to continue the downtrend. Right, USD CAD very undecided this afternoon, guys. The Kiwi dollar very undecided versus the US dollar, with the hourly and the daily recommendations being a strong sell. Euro JPY, however, is stuck in the 4 buy, strong buy indications. GBP JPY again stuck with all green on the charts, buy and strong buy indications. And this is about it. Quick look at commodities. Maybe we get a better overview on commodities, and we do. Sadly, is not what I'm looking for. 4 red strong sell indications for gold and silver this afternoon, guys. So look for an entry point on a smaller time frame, 5 minute or a 15-minute time frame, so you avoid a bit of a drawdown if you want to ride the downtrend for gold and silver. We're looking at copper with strong buy and buy recommendations. It might work. Okay, diversify your trades a bit. Crude oil, WTI, and Brent oil are indicating strong sell as we speak, but the daily remains a strong buy. Not sure how that's going to work out. So get ready for a bit of a correction, and then if you think the uptrend in crude oil and Brent oil will continue, then you might want to look for an entry point after this pullback. You might want to go long on crude oil and Brent oil if the signals, if the daily signals remain a strong buy. And natural gas and US wheat, guys, red all over the charts with strong sell indications on all 4 time frames. Right, this was it from my side. Ladies, gentlemen, traders, thank you for being with us today. Ladies, once again, happy International Women's Day 2021. We wish you all the best. We love you, and we thank you for being part of our lives. This was it from my side. Join me again tomorrow, same time, same place for a new round of market talks. And until then, guess what? Remember to trade responsibly and may all your trades be in the money. Peace out.